Israel's war cabinet has fallen apart. One of Israel's biggest supporters, longtime friend of Benjamin Netanyahu, former Ambassador John Bolton, is with us now. Mr. Ambassador, I appreciate it. Netanyahu's got more lives politically than a cat does, as you well know. Is his time finally running out?
Well, I think ultimately, obviously, it will. It does for every politician. But, you know, Israeli public opinion polls over the last several weeks have shown Netanyahu's approval ratings going up. And I think the breakup of the war cabinet may work to his benefit as well. People will think that Gantz, one of the leaders of the opposition, really did so for his own political benefit. And I think as a result of U.S. pressure, and I think the Israelis, not unlike Americans, don't react well when somebody else tells them to change their government. So I think it's complicated, but the fact is the Israeli policy that's being pursued was adopted by the full war cabinet, a kind of government of national unity, and that's the destruction of Hamas's political and military capabilities. And I think that's what sticks in a lot of people's craws in this country, but it's what Israel said it wanted to do, and I think that still has, inside Israel, personalities aside, that objective still has overwhelming support.
Right, and there's an irony here into how the Biden administration's playing this, right? Because you and I were both there. We remember when the Obama administration tried to divide the Israeli public against Netanyahu and criticize Netanyahu, and all it did was make him stronger. So now we're doing the same thing all over again. But I think that it brings up a different question in terms of the policy, right? Is Benjamin Netanyahu doing things in his own political best interests, or is he doing it in the best interests of Israel, including but not limited to sitting outside Rafah for 3 months? Because the longer he stays on as prime minister, and the longer there's a war, and the longer he's seen standing up to Joe Biden, the less likely he is to get prosecuted, or the continued prosecution of him on corruption charges.
Well, look, I think the delay in the offensive in Rafah was a huge mistake for Israel. And while it may have had the effect of prolonging Bibi's hold on the prime ministership 3 months, I don't think he felt that the delay was good for Israel. I think in any circumstance like this, Israel would have been well advised to resist American pressure and finish the job. If you can't deal effectively with Hamas, how is Israel going to have the bandwidth to deal with what looks to be increasing threat from Hezbollah in the north? They've been rocketed from Hezbollah almost since October 7th to begin with, and Iran may be turning up the temperature on the northern border as they did in Gaza. So I think it was in Israel's interest, frankly, in the U.S. interest, for Israel to finish the job in Gaza. But that's not what Biden wanted, and that's not what the opposition to Netanyahu and Israel wanted. They wanted the delay. They wanted a ceasefire. They wanted to get the hostages out. You know, we know now pretty convincingly Hamas never had enough hostages to make the kind of deal that the White House was talking about. So I think there's been bungling all along, but I think the reason for the delay was not that Bibi thought it benefited his political well-being, but because of the unbelievable pressure that the White House and its political allies in this country were putting on Netanyahu.
So how is it that Netanyahu has become such the boogeyman for the political left, and even now sometimes the mid-center, the center-left in America?
Well, look, it has been a straight-through line from the Clinton administration to the Obama administration to the Biden administration. They don't like Bibi Netanyahu. And I think, you know, there are probably lots of reasons. I guess the one I would say is number one is that in many respects, Bibi is so good at American politics that he's run rings around 3 successive Democratic presidents, and they can't stand it. I understand why they're angry, but the fact is, the positions that Netanyahu takes, I think, are positions that are in the best interest of the United States. Netanyahu almost alone in Israel has seen that the central actor here, the central threat to Israel in contemporary times, is the Islamic Revolution in Iran. And until that regime is overthrown, until its nuclear program is destroyed, until its capability of equipping and arming and training and giving intelligence to these terrorists is ended, the Middle East never is going to have a chance at peace and stability.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.